Hello, everybody. Today is March 16th. It's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this is. Hello, Victoria. You,
There, can you hear me?
yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Is it just you and me, or we have guests?
So far, it's just you and me. The recording's on. I was just gonna start doing I always start the video with just whatever flows through for the project until somebody comes in, then we just connect and start working.
Great. So I saw that you were somewhere. I caught one that you mentioned LaDonna,
Mm-hmm.
being in touch with her. Is that because you had been in touch with her, or you were still trying to reach her?
Um, she shared that statement. Um, she shared that statement on Facebook, and I just went ahead. I saw that a few of us were tagged, like maybe you and Amber and Ray and myself, and Brittany maybe. So then I just made a statement myself right there under her statement, but she didn't see it until Brittany tagged her name under it. So I'm not
Okay.
sure if she saw it or not. So, just whoever is in contact with her, I know you are. So, you know, what better person to get involved than her?
Well, um, I saw somehow I got the impression that Aon was in fairly direct communication with her. Have you spoken with him?
I can contact him.
Yeah, it might be good if if someone within the network is able to speak with her about what the overall goals are. It would be good, I think, for her to know that she's overwhelmed with many calls for her attention. And in this time of, I know it was pretty traumatic what happened on the 12th and 13th, uh, while people were in Washington. And I think it would be good to have this call as you know, something that could be the result of all of people's efforts, rather than having it just be like, okay, well, camp is uh, devastated. Now what do now what do we do? So anyhow, I think it would be good to have her at least aware and participating at whatever level she's able. And then there are many other participants from both Ochetti and Sacred Stone that would be, I think, really happy to know that this is happening,
Yeah.
and maybe we can find some ways to reach out to them. I know they've dispersed across the country at this point, but I can put out, I've been actually posting in the groups about this call.
Yeah, me too. I've been for weeks to months now. I've been sharing this call and the Water Protectors Unite .com's ClickFunnel like landing page to draw people in to the Slack space that Brittany created. Brittany got the ClickFunnel created and the Slack created, and just the unifying call of like the solutions. Let's bring in collaborative governance and let's bring in a humanitarian project pipeline. It's just each person's in their process, and they'll see this information when they're ready, and then they'll join us in the space, and then we can approach Standing Rock. What is the best solution going forward, and then all the other Standing Rocks teams that can join all the other ones, and then the long-term solution, which is how do we bring in a better world for all that's beyond all these sorts of situations. So yeah.
Well, I know that that's one of the things that LaDonna is committed to. Was she was not singularly focused on just Standing Rock. She was broadly focused, and may, I imagine she still is, um, on the issues of sovereignty and abundance for every person. That was one of the things that attracted me to Sacred Stone, was the universal city, the eco village concept, and that absolutely, while it was disconcerting sometimes, it was also very encouraging that every person was welcome,
Yeah.
even people who couldn't manage on their own. And quite a few people like that found their way, which I think in some ways is what it I think it lent itself to some of the rumors that that Sacred Stone was somehow dysfunctional, which it absolutely wasn't. It was incredibly highly functional, and I mean beautifully so, with so many cultures. Uh, but then we had people who really needed supervision. We had people who found their way there. I'm certain their hearts were guided to this beautiful purpose, and the reality was that they weren't capable of highly functioning. And so, it's really easy for all of for all of us highly functional people to judge. Especially to judge an organization or see it's I'm not even sure what to call it, because it wasn't exactly even an organization. If there was anyone who constantly said that it was self-organizing, it was LaDonna. This is a place where we will find our way through love and prayer. It was really an incredibly enlivening experience.
Yeah, beautiful. Hey, Brittany, you gonna join us?
Yes, and helping Quinn make a smoothie right now.
Cool.
Yes, yeah, I love that what you said. One more too. Yeah, one more scoop. So it's gotta be chocolate smoothie. That's good. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, just I love the village feel at Sacred Stone, and I think also it was different than what I had expected, being there.
Totally different.
Yeah, which
Uh-oh, we lost her.
Oh, I was gonna somebody created a Standing Rock Villages Everywhere Facebook page or something like that.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna pull that up and
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it too.
see here.
Maybe you can share it with me.
Okay, let's see if I can find it here. There it is. Standing Rock Eco Villages is the name of it.
Hi, Brittany.
What's that?
Is that Brittany back?
yes, hey, yeah. I know. It's like this technology stuff, right? But I'm still curious, like, what is going on. Quentin, can you add this too? What's going on there? Like, I mean, I just saw that the school is bulldozed, or the kitchen, one of those. It's like pretty intense. I just had, yeah. I mean, I feel like Standing Rock gave us a lot of lessons, Before I got there, I had this vision, of just how we could create and shift it into community, because it's like people are all united on a cause, on protecting the sacred. Just a little bit. All united on protecting the sacred, and that's what community first needs, is a united vision. And I saw how, like, all the donations, that was kind of a mess. And I personally believe that with donations, or with that flow of energy, there can be a real opportunity there that can create businesses, that can create more empowerment for people, rather than depending upon this sort of funding, you know, in the form of donations, because the donations run out, right? But if we could kind of funnel it and be like, okay, and I know there was a council of sorts there. I just wasn't a part of it, but I would have liked to see that. Honestly, I would have liked to see even like invitations for, you know, DAPL and police into teepee ceremony, just because, and I know, I mean, I'm not coming from that culture, but it just would have been an interesting thing, like an olive branch, you know, to kind of extend out. Even though I know that can be difficult for people that are hurting, you know, your community, but we're all hurting at this time because the earth is hurting and the waters are being poisoned. Yeah, but just trying to come to like more common ground, more understanding, more compassion, more forgiveness, and yeah, I like what you're saying too about just trying to reach out. I've been just personally messaging some people here and there to kind of connect them, and I'm going to be changing that landing page a lot, like half of it.
Half of it can be.
Yeah, half of it. Because right now it's kind of written from like my perspective, and I was curious, like Doran and
What means is this?
okay, like which organizations we could say that we're connected with in unite, you know, like all the water protectors, like these are the organizations that are working together to protect the waters, you know. So that would be something I would be curious to find out.
So
yeah.
what do you
Yeah, I guess it's not so much finding out, it's more like reaching out to see which organizations would be interested in collaborating in, at least like it kind of seems like for a lot of the things that we're working on, it's like we have this whole, like the call yesterday that Destiny facilitated, you know, like all these organizations that are contributing to solutions. And if we can just have, you know, the water protectors be like its own auxiliary organization that is connected to the whole, but that's the focus, you know, is the water protection movement.
Yeah, that's what I see too. I see all just like a simple rallying call that we're all putting out to all the leaders and all the movement, and then they come into a simple, you know, like we have set up a landing page into a Slack space. We have a weekly show on this every week, and we get better at creating a project management page for like forms of like, do you have a website that is involved with Interact, a good media web page, independent media people, just like databasing of all of the different leaders out there that are involved and all the different websites and media and everything, so that we can gather it all and draw it all in, and then approach them all as like, would you like to be kind of co-sponsor? Like we'll have like every logo of every movement that is saying yes to this, you know, like we have a simple statement, do you say yes to this, and everybody will just share that around the world, and that just populates a huge list of leaders around the world and organizations that say yes to this. Yeah, so we just have to build out some of these systems and continue to put out this rally call. And yeah, and then I know that that the team in Albuquerque there, if we can all focus this in and bring them the data in an organized fashion, they can populate the website, you know, easier than having to do, because you guys have a lot of projects there, so we got to bring a team together that can support. So
yeah, a team
indeed.
or several.
Yeah, several teams. It is all the teams. We're bringing them all together.
So if we were to focus on one thing in particular right now, Doran, since you got a pretty good overview of what's happening, since everyone's kind of reporting to you or through you, what would you say is the very first, or very not first, obviously, but next step?
Well, one thing is we could together look at the landing page and word it together, and then all of us can then, by next week, we can all share that to all the Facebook groups and all the different organizations and websites. Like, we just like split up and like just, all right, I'll hit 10 of them, you hit 10 of them, you hit 10 of them. We just like hit every media outlet, every Facebook group and page in like a week, and start to draw them into the next meeting. That would be a good step, I think.
Okay, and is the landing page, has it developed any further than the last week or so that we've been looking at it?
Brittany.
It's still just an invitation to sign up, right?
It's integrated with Slack. It's basically, I mean, that part is done. I would like to edit the wording for sure. But yeah, it's pretty, I think that piece of the puzzle is pretty much done. Yeah. Do you think, Doran, or like other than the wording?
We could pull it up on the screen and
Yeah.
I could type, or I could type while we all talk if you guys want, and we could.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, or I'm getting to it.
So that it says, something along the lines of that, like we want to get every leader and every movement to come together around this, and like a strong, bold statement says like we're forming collaborative governance to identify the solutions, to implement them in the order of priority, and Standing Rock is our ground zero, and we've unified all tribes on the planet through this issue. So do you approve of this message? Yes. Like a survey even would be something that like could populate results. Like it says,
So, at this point, we only have the landing page. There's no content.
Landing page takes you to the Slack space.
Oh,
And then
it does.
Then we have this weekly show that we're promoting with it.
Are we talking about standingrockpipeline.com?
I'm talking about waterprotectorsunite.com. We're using her landing page for that.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm going there now.
Okay, cool. Let's look at that. I'll pull it up on the screen too. Nope, that's not it. Messed it up again. Waterprotectorsunite.com, and then I gotta get rid of this part. Okay, so that's where it takes you to.
Like, I think that top part's okay, and then it just like when I use my eye or whatever, it's like, I liked what you said, Doran, the other day. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, you said tighten it up in more direct, powerful speech about all of us to come together and bring in collaborative governments and align around the solutions. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty good.
Perfect. Yeah, just see what everybody thinks of that first statement at the top, and we'll just see if there's anything you want to change or not.
Yeah.
So should we start at the top? Or keep going.
Okay, so I'm still catching up here.
Okay.
So at this point, it directs you to Slack after you enter your email.
Yeah. I had like a robot, actually. I built like a little thing that automatically invites you. Mm-hmm.
What kind of
That one.
Do we have, and what are we doing to follow up for people who on these sites?
So we have the list of everybody who signed up, but then they're automatically invited into Slack. So they're just like in there and can stay involved. But we can definitely get like an email campaign out too. And so like just like newsletter style as well, like or like we can even compile like a set like 7 emails or something that is just automatically sent to them after they sign up, so they can figure out what ways that they can get involved. Yeah. So there's like all these different, there's a bunch of different options that we could do. It's just, that team aspect, I could only do so much before the next project came into my awareness, you know.
I've collected some emails. Like I created a Standing Rock pipeline on our constant contact email account. So I collected maybe 10, 20, or 30 that checked that they're interested in Standing Rock pipeline. So I can update them now of this and how people come through this into the space. We have a weekly show, and that we're coming together to build out the website and collaborative governance and humanitarian projects.
So wait a minute. So sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, or I do actually, but yeah. So there's an invitation to people specifically.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. What did you say before specifically?
There's an invitation. So there's an invitation for them to do something. What is it?
To join Slack.
Being invited. Okay, and then once they join Slack, what else is the
So my whole thing with websites and landing pages and funnels specifically is micro commitments. So once they get in there, they understand that they're going to be invited into Slack, and then in I've just been posting like different solutions so far, and there's different teams depending upon like which pipeline. And then there's also like stories and solutions, there's just different teams that people can join and propagate and get involved.
Do we so is there more than just so far, are there more than just us, Doran, who have specific activities that we're doing towards this end? Or is it mostly just people who are being invited to participate, but they don't have a specific job? Because it would be good if we had some administration other than us, because I don't have time. But if we could point people to the things that are happening, to the camps that are being set up, to the actions that are happening, it'd be awfully nice to have a weekly update, or bi-weekly, something. here's what to, here's what's coming up, and here's what's happening around the world.
Personally, I haven't really been broadcasting this that much. I've been personally inviting like action takers and community builders, and so there are a few in there, but I also feel like there's room for more so that we can get more sort of people who step up into that leadership role. And yeah, it's just there's not a lot of people in there yet, too. And it's the thing too is like everybody's used to using Facebook, and to try to facilitate a different project management tool that helps us to get things done.
Yeah, so I know that we have lots of people who are typically the people who are going to be interested in this immediately or right away, maybe people who are already involved in some way in actions. But what I'm thinking is it would be awfully nice if we could find someone who isn't inclined to be on the ground somewhere because of their circumstances, but they still want to help. And one of the ways that they could help, I would like to put out a call for administration, someone who would like to collect information and post it, someone who's not trying to be at a camp or on the front lines, but and also someone who they feel particularly called to do administrative work, where they're just combing through actions, or they're getting emails, or people who are in charge of actions are emailing them. I feel like we could create a position, and that some activist who, a stay-at-home parent or something, that could be their distribution.
Yeah, can we work on maybe just writing out the specific like roles and responsibilities like for that role, and that would like even just talking about it like that. I have somebody in mind actually, but I would think it would be helpful just to kind of create that space holder and define it.
Are you taking that note, Doran, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'm taking some notes here. Yeah, let's identify the roles, like actual like positions, and we're bringing together a team, and here are the roles, and ultimately this is what we're visioning to do together.
Yep, because there's lots of people right now. I know of at least 2 other people who are starting groups similar to this. And if we're calling for unification, then let's unify. And in doing so, sometimes, I've been an activist organizer for most of my life, and so I have some perhaps unique insight into what to where things get energized and where things get derailed. And I would love to, and having been at Standing Rock, I would have loved to use some of that insight and collaborate with other people who have a sense of the Lakota way, which is powerful in organizing. It's so different. I think it's one of the things that was such a juxtaposition there, is the differences of culture. And I think this can be a unique opportunity for us to take that information about how people organized even around their differences, and I think this is the opportunity for that. And so if we have some ideas about what it is we're calling people to do, then we can put calls out to specific people, because they might be interested in doing specifically that. and I guess I would like to acknowledge that the generalized call is like a beacon, is useful, but then we have to really get specific, like what are we calling for? What do we, even if it's like Brittany was saying, even if it's micro actions, you were saying, if it's small things that you can do, those things are they're fine if we've got someone organizing it daily. Like we could do a 1 action a day for a month campaign or something, like write to this person, write a letter to Red Fawn, or some of the political prisoners who are right now being held without chance of bail. There are so many people who are still being held from that action. There's so many people who still have to get money to go back to Standing Rock after having been forced out. There's so much we could be asking people specifically to do. And then there's also just like, how do we keep organized? We could ask people to step up in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
Okay. So, what are some roles? We could just like brain, flow, and I'll just write things down. And what are we calling for here?
Well, I think admin right now, someone who can be like an organizer hub. So it's an administrative position where they would receive updates from a variety of activist organizers or organizations, and those organizations might be called to send updates about campaigns that they're working on, maybe a list of camps. So someone, if this could be one person, that'd be great. If it was more than one, so it would be one person, or one part of that job would be collecting protest camp data, so that if people are interested in going to some action nearby where they live, which is really what I think we're doing. Fundamentally, what we're doing is saying there's an action that can be taken nearby where you are right now. There's an action you could take your grandma to. That's my big favorite, because your grandma cares too. She's, and if she doesn't, it's just because she's not aware. So, these kinds of, getting people involved in their local activities, there can be a hub where people who are creating those, because there are so many organizations around the country right now and around the world. It'd be nice if just, there was sort of, here's an email with the upcoming list, and then somebody might be able to arrange some kind of database where you could say, in whatever your locale is, here are the various places you can go to participate, or here are the hearings for water or resource extraction. I don't know what to call it, but there are public hearings for public input or comment periods. I know that really right now, all over the DAPL pipeline and other related pipeline trajectory, there are comment periods that are coming up within days of now. And if we could get another extra 2 people even to show up and say, hey, I don't want that near me, that would be one thing. And funny,
go ahead.
and then there's one more thing that I think would be super useful, and I'm not seeing it, is what are the alternatives to oil? If we're saying no to resource extraction, what are we saying yes to? So somebody who is putting together a news briefing routinely on technological breakthroughs, or what's the next thing? If it isn't oil, if it isn't pipelines, then what is it?
One thing that is useful about ClickFunnels, which this landing page is built on, is if people enter in their phone number, then we can, and also we could make that survey, so like figuring out where people are, we can make sub lists that are on, regions, different locations. And so then, when there's a specific action, there can be like a text or SMS blast out to everybody in that location who signed up that lets them know what's going on. Just creating more automatic or like automated systems that keep touch in contact with these people, keep them informed, like what you're saying. But I just wanted to extend that out there. There's also the capability for like just sending out text messages, keeping people, just like really up to date on what's happening in their regions.
So maybe one way to get people engaged in that would be where it says enter your phone number here,
Mm-hmm.
right above that. Or maybe not on that page, but somewhere within the system, it says, do you want updates? Would you be interested in, receiving, just some kind of a text about what's happening in your region or something like that, giving people another chance to say yes to something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as far as roles, we've kind of gone over like administrative, and maybe like someone researching solutions and posting about that. It's a lot of like database or like information.
Yeah.
Seeking.
And then I like a social media team, a team of social media people that blast out this landing page, our weekly show, and all sorts of media. Any media we find, we put it out there with a link into our portal every time. We just keep populating great articles and videos and everything. We put it out there with our branding so that it pulls them into our Slack and then our weekly show. And I'm really thinking like a quick survey that's just one statement or whatever that like we get everyone to agree to it. Boom, they agree to it. Then we populate their name and their organization on the website. We just fill the whole website with names and orgs and just get that sort of energy going.
And what are they agreeing to, Doran? I'm sorry, I think I missed.
We kind of have to come up with that. It could be simple. Do you believe that we have the right to free clean water or whatever it is? I don't know.
Well, okay, let's talk about that for a second.
Or whatever it is.
So what, if we could, and Richard, I would love to hear from you, frankly. You're welcome to join us. If we were to say, what is the big call? What are we calling people to actually do?
Sure.
If we have that definitive request or that definitive hi, then once they say yes, we know they're in. It's not just another thing to join. Hi, Richard.
Hello. Don't have the best reception right now for one reason or another. But
well, it's good to see you here. Thank you.
would like to say hello first of all. I've been guided to listen more than anything. But you brought up a nice question right now that kind of gave me a curiosity to answer. I'm an individual that's just been going on a path of understanding what life is about. That being said, I understand there's a lot of stuff going on around the world. And number one thing for health is water. That being said, what I see in this group is getting an understanding that there's a lot of things going on. And when we unite and work together, our energy is so much more powerful to get things shifting. But when we spend too much time trying to do too much, our energy depletes. And what I see this group more is bringing awareness to a lot of the water protectors, information of how to move more efficiently and with a higher guidance. Because there's a lot of individuals that are awakening to a higher consciousness. And this higher consciousness allows us to break down walls and move freely when we unite. And when we're separated and fighting with each other because we don't agree, then they win. The other energy wins with their mission. So as we unite ourselves, we become stronger. The floor plan is laid here and now. It's up to us to come together, settle our differences, and work as one. As we work as one, everything will be brought forward for us to have the proper tools to take care of any situation that's going on around the world for the greater good of all. Thank you.